Joining us now, Democratic Congressman from Washington State, Adam Smith. He's the ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thanks for being with us. What did you learn in yesterday's briefing, and what questions do you still have?
Well, we didn't learn the specifics of what the plan is going forward, and I think that was Chairman Rogers' frustration. We're kind of stuck at the moment in this conflict, and you've sort of seen this. The president, is not accomplishing the goals that they wanted to accomplish, which was basically to break the Iranian regime. Whether it was a regime change or not, they wanted an Iranian regime that said, okay, we're going to abandon our nuclear program, we're going to abandon our ballistic missile program, and we're going to stop supporting terrorist groups in the region. Well, they're really no closer to that goal today than they were when they started. Now, we certainly degraded Iran's capability in terms of the ballistic missile program, but we're not close to achieving that bigger, more important goal that would have made this project make a lot more sense. So the president's facing a tough choice. Does he double down and try to achieve something that really there's no clear plan to achieve, or does he say that we've achieved victory? And either way he wants to go, he needs to explain that. Achieve victory how? What did we accomplish? Or if you think we need to keep doing this war, what more are we going to achieve? And what are you going to do? What are you going to bomb? Is there boots on the ground? What's the plan? That's what we did not hear yesterday.
So you didn't get any sense, no inclination of which direction the president is heading?
No, there were a lot of questions. We've got, one Marine Expeditionary Unit close to arriving in the Gulf, another one on the way. We've got 2,000 airborne soldiers from the 82nd Airborne showing up. Why? What is the plan in terms of what we think they should do? We asked that question. A number of members asked that question repeatedly yesterday. We were given no answer as to why those ground forces are being moved to the region, or even what the sort of menu of options is. What do we think we can do with them? And all this is very concerning to me. Why I didn't support starting the war in the first place, and I support ending it now. The goal of officially eliminating Iran as a problem was never realistic. There was never a clear plan of achieving that. And there was never an idea of, okay, if we can't achieve that, what can we achieve? And does that justify the cost? Because the cost, as we know, has been enormous. 13 service members killed. Iran now has complete control of the Strait of Hormuz. Gas prices are climbing. The global economy is crashing. So what was it that we thought we were going to achieve if we couldn't achieve the more maximalist goals that I think a lot of people would love to see? It's just a matter of how you get there.
There's no doubt we've heard the cacophony of frustration both in your party and across the aisle now from Republicans about the lack of transparency, the lack of a plan. But is there a precedent whereby the Pentagon, defense officials, the White House should be telegraphing or giving insight to members of Congress about where the war should be heading? Is there precedent for telegraphing those war plans?
No, 100%. I mean, you don't telegraph them publicly, but that's why we have classified hearings. I mean, during the course of the Iraq and the Afghanistan campaign, there were a number of different bend points in those conflicts. And in every one, the Bush administration, the Obama administration, they came up to the Hill and they talked us through what they were thinking and what their options were. The surge in Iraq, President Obama's decision after taking office in 2009 to stick with Afghanistan. All of that was discussed in great detail in a bipartisan way with the oversight committees in Congress. And look, the biggest problem with this war is not that President Trump isn't paying attention to Congress enough. The biggest problem is that he launched it in the first place and the cost that is happening. I want to be very clear about that. But it is also the case that he is once again ignoring the Constitution in favor of autocratic executive rule. I don't have to talk to Congress. The reason those checks and balances are in place, in part, is to try to prevent mistakes like this, to make sure that the people are heard through their representatives in the House and the Senate. And Trump is completely ignoring that process to a level I have not seen. I've been here a while and been through a lot of conflicts and a lot of presidents. This is different. This is the president saying, leave me alone. I'm doing this on my own. I don't have to tell you what I'm doing. And I think he's wrong about that. My Republican colleagues agree, at least on that point.
I was just going to say, what are your Republican colleagues telling you behind closed doors? If you can pull back the curtain for us.
Yeah, well, I mean, Chairman Rogers pulled back the curtain for you right there in front of everybody and said they're feeling very frustrated. The administration does not have a clear plan moving forward, and they're not sharing that information with us. I think a lot of Republicans are saying that. Now, to me, that is a reason to vote for the War Powers Resolution, saying, no, we're not going to let you continue to do this without our authority. Thus far, very few Republicans, I think it's 2 in the House, have been willing to take that step. But that's the step that needs to happen if you really want to hold the president accountable.
Sir, we're already in the war at this point. So War Powers Resolution or not, we find ourselves in Iran. So if we back out now, will that leave the Persian Gulf, our allies there, and even the U.S. here at home less safe?
Yeah. Well, no. I think what leaves us less safe is that we started the war in the first place, and you are diving right into the sunk cost fallacy, which is horrible, horrible mistake. If we stop now, it'll become obvious that it was a horrible, horrible mistake. So let's just keep going to make it an even bigger mistake, to have even higher costs involved. Yeah, if we stop now, it's going to be a problem, but it's going to be worse if we don't. So, yeah, you can make all kinds of arguments. Oh, gosh, if we stop now, what about this? What about that? What about the other thing? I don't necessarily disagree, which is why, again, we shouldn't have started it in the first place. It'll be worse if we keep going, because all of those problems that you can list about us stopping now, they're going to be there if we stop a month from now, 2 months from now, or 6 months from now, because Iran has made it clear they will survive. They're going to dig in and go for survival, and we have no plan to overcome that. The longer we do this, the higher the cost, no closer to actually achieving a more desirable outcome.
Congressman Adam Smith, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.